The first thing I'm going to do with this equation is write it in standard form for an ellipse. So it needs to be set equal to 1. So divide both sides by 24. So 4 over x squared gets divided by 24, and 3y squared gets divided by 24, and now it's equal to 1. As well as I need to reduce. So this is going to be x squared over a 6 and y squared over an 8. And then the ellipse is centered at the origin, since this doesn't have x minus something or x plus something. So it's centered at the origin. And then in the x direction, you take the square root of this number. So it's going to be, go out to the square root of 6. And you could get the decimal form if you want. And we need plus or minus the square root of 6. So there's the positive and negative. And then take the square root of 8, which would be just slightly larger. Well, the square root of 8 can actually be reduced as 2 radical 2, so I'll go ahead and do that. And negative 2 radical 2. And then make the ellipse. Since the 6 and the 8 are close to each other, then it looks to be close to a circle, but not quite. Alright, we've got the graph part. Now find the focus points. So this is the longer axis, or the major axis, so the focus points are on that. And then we're going to use the formula that c squared equals, it's tempting to say a squared plus b squared, but with an ellipse it's actually minus. So a squared minus b squared. And then the c is going to be this distance that we need to find out where's the focus. Okay, so then we need the a and the b. Well, that comes from these guys right here. This is a squared and this is b squared. So we took the square root of them and found the a and the b, but in this formula it actually uses just the a squared and the b squared, so we can use the 8 and the 6, and they're already in squared form. So an 8 minus a 6, and so c is going to be, this is a 2. Notice that if you would have switched them and got 6 minus 8, then the square root of a negative 2 is imaginary, which means that you made a mistake. Switch them back. Put the bigger one first, so that you get a positive, and then take the square root of that, so square root of 2. And then just double check that that's smaller than this number right here. Well, that's 2 times the square root of 2, which means the focus point is halfway in between this vertex and the origin. So we've got the focus point. There's also a negative one, so I should put plus and minus the square root of 2. So there's this one at the negative square root of 2, and this one at the positive square root of 2, and then finally I can label it like this. The focus points are at x is 0 and y is plus or minus the square root of 2.